All right, guys. Today we're going to do a little bit of a different format because I think it might be better with the reading. So we're going to figure out our week 17 lessons over Zoom video chat instead of over the over my iPad because I feel like ELA will be a little easier that way. So I'm going to share my screen, number one. Let's see. Yeah, I'm going to share my screen one. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to look at our new unit, which is animal homes. So our new unit is about animals. So our essential question is, what are features of different animal habitats? What are features of different animal habitats? So we're going to be figuring out this stuff while we read our next book. But before we read the book, we're going to go over the vocabulary words for this week. All right, our first word is buried. Buried? Yeah, buried. The car was buried in the deep snow. So, if something is buried, it is covered up with something. Now, what buried things have you found before? A cool thing I wish I could find that was buried is a dinosaur bone. All right, let's look at escape. The cat could escape through the gap in the fence. Oh no, not my cat. My cat is super protected in this house. He can't escape. So the cat could escape through a gap in the fence. If you escape from something, you get away from it. What are other ways animals could escape from a backyard? If you were here for show and tell, you notice my backyard has a ledge, so a cat could easily just jump over the ledge and get away if it wanted to. Habitat. Prairie dogs live in a desert habitat. Now, we know a lot about deserts because the high desert is where a lot of us live, or a lot of you guys live. I live down in Redlands, but we're close enough. A habitat is the place where an animal or a plant lives. So prairie dogs live in a desert habitat. What animals live in a forest habitat? I want you to get out your notebooks and I want you to answer what animal lives in a forest habitat. You can draw it too if you want, or on Zoom you can record it. All right. So go ahead and pause the video and answer that question. All right, our next one is journey. Maya and her family went on a journey in the mountains. A journey is a trip. Maya and her family went on a journey in the mountains. So, what is a journey you have taken before? Have you been to Mexico? Have you been to Canada? Have you been to Japan? Have you been to Spain? Have you been the next town over? Have you been to Barstow? Have you been to Ukaipa, where I used to live? That would be funny. All right, journey. Nature. We walk in the woods because we like to be in nature. Nature. Nature is all the things outdoors not made by people. We walk in the woods because we like to be in nature. What do you like about nature? What do you like about being outside? Peeks. When hiding, Kate peeks out from behind the tree. A person who peeks looks quickly. While hiding, Kate peeks out from behind the tree. Describe how a person peeks out from behind something. So let's look at Kate. She still wants to hide, so she's kind of moving her face a little bit so we can still see her. But she's trying to peek. All right, next one. Restless. The child becomes restless during a long car ride. If you are restless, you cannot stay still or quiet. The child became restless during the long car ride. When have you felt restless? Maybe sometimes in class when we're doing something you don't necessarily want to do, or you're like, oh, this is boring. Sometimes you get restless. That's okay. It happens to everybody. It happens to me too. All right. Spies. Carlos spies an eagle in the sky. See, look, he's got his cool binoculars and he sees the eagle. If somebody spies something, they see it suddenly. Carlos spies an eagle in the sky. What is a synonym for spies? Have you ever played the game I Spy? Yeah, that one's fun. All right, well, that was it for that. So those are our vocab words, and we're going to be using those vocab words for the story we're going to be reading. All right, so I need to get rid of this. We're done with animals. Well, not done with animals, but we're getting there. We're going to talk about a prairie guard dog. Look at how cute this thing is. It's a cute little prairie dog. He's not as cute as Sleepy, who's over here just kind of hanging out. He should be up shortly. All right, so our essential question is, what are features of different animal habitats? So, I am on a journey. My trip is to a prairie. It is in the outdoor world called nature. Many animals live in a prairie habitat. This place has what prairie dogs need to survive. So the habitat has what the prairie dogs need to survive. A prairie has a lot of grasses, but few trees. Without places to hide, a prairie can be dangerous for some animals. So, we're on a journey, we're on a trip somewhere to nature. Nature's anything not made by a person. And we're going to the prairie habitat, where prairie dogs live. Good morning. It is early in the morning. First, I see a prairie dog. I name him Pete. He peeks, or he looks out his burrow. So he looks out his burrow. He peeks his head out of his burrow underground. He looks around. Then Pete calls loudly to his family, "Yip!" He lets them know it is safe to come out. Soon, 4 prairie dogs come out. So they need the burrow so they don't get eaten by bigger animals. Pete is the guard, and he is restless. He cannot rest because he is always looking around for danger. This allows the other prairie dogs to safely munch on grasses and seeds. They can also groom each other or work on their burrow. Yap, yap. Prairie dogs can make 11 different sounds to communicate with each other. So Pete's restless, so he's moving around. He can't stop talking because he's making sure that things aren't going to come and eat him and his family. A scare. Oh no, Pete spies a large badger. When he sees it, he gives a loud bark. Yap, yap. His family recognizes the warning. Some hide in tall grass, and some jump into the burrow. The badger runs at Pete, but the watchful guard is able to escape into the burrow. I am glad he is able to get away from danger. After a few minutes, Pete peeks his head out again, and he is back on the job. So Pete's very important. He has a very important job. Break time. The sun gets higher, and it is hot now. The prairie dog slips into the deep burrow where it is cooler. Even Pete goes in. Tunnels, like hallways, lead to a different area or different areas. There is a sleeping room. There is a room used like a bathroom, and the prairie dogs cover up roots and seeds in one room. Later, they eat the buried food there. So they eat the food that is underground and that they have to dig up. Seconds shift. I keep watching the burrow. Finally, the sun begins to set, and a different prairie dog peeks his head out. I name him Gary. Pete must be off duty. Yip, Gary calls. The other prairie dogs come back out. The prairie dogs eat and play until the moon is high in the sky. Then they go to sleep in their burrows. I wonder if Pete will be back on duty. We will see in the morning. Sleepy wants to get Pete and say hi to Pete. Say hi to the Zoom scholar, Sleepy. Hello. All right. All right, Mr. Sleepy, go over there. All right, so let's make connections. What are two features of a prairie dog habitat? Well, remember, a habitat is where they live. So there is short grass and it is a desert. And what animals do prairie dogs remind you of? Go ahead and write that down in your book. What animal did the prairie dog remind you of? And I'm going to give you a second to think about that while I pull up the next part of our activity, okay? All right, so I'm going to pull up the next part. If you're not finished, you may pause the video, but we're going to talk about main topics and key details. So, main topics. This is going to be what the story's about. So, the main topic is what the selection is about. Key details give information about the main topic. So what Mr. Cannon's going to do is he's going to take a picture of the screen with his iPad so he can share his iPad and he can write. All right, so let's use this photo. It's going to look a little bad because unfortunately I can't screenshot and send to my iPad quickly, so this is just the quicker way even though it's a lesser quality. All right, so there we go. So Mr. Cannon is going to go ahead and stop this share, and he's going to share his iPad. Okay. Okay, his iPad. Oh, new plugin required. All right, let's download that plugin. This computer doesn't know we got English, we got ELA to learn, so it's going to take a second. All right. There we go. Well, if it wants to log on. Oh, there we go. All right, so our main topic is prairie dogs. And one key detail is the prairie dog acts as a guard. Do you notice how the key detail is something about the prairie dogs? Yes, the key detail is something about the story and the prairie dogs. So what is another key detail that we have? Let's see, prairie. Oop, I need to get a little bit of a thinner pencil here. All right, let's see if this is better. Yep. Okay, prairie. Okay, there we go. Dogs live in burrows. Prairie dogs live in burrows. Very nice. Prairie dogs live in burrows. All right, another detail is they eat grass and seeds. They eat grass and seeds, and I think Sleepy's trying to eat my plant. He shouldn't be doing that because that plant's probably not very good for him. All right. So main idea is interesting because making predictions is a little interesting, a little harder, but main ideas is just what is the story's main purpose and what is it about? All right. Okay, let's go ahead and go to the next part, which is going to be our reading, writing workshop. I just need to find it on here. Reading, writing workshop. Words in context. Well, you know what's cool? We already did that. All right. Mr. Cannon went a little ahead and we did that. Okay. So when we go back to class, stop my share. When we go back to class, we're going to read the Prairie Dog again. And then we're also going to read our interactive read aloud. I'd rather do that in class because it's a bit better. And then we're going to work on our phonemic awareness stuff like usual. All right, awesome. So you guys have a good day, and I will see you later. Bye.